giving all praises. Let me say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Racha Kodash. Double honors to my apostles, elder bishops, very great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect, scattered abroad. I'm the brother Taza Moore from the GMS New Jersey camp. And just here again this morning, all right, with another lesson that hopes to edify those of the hopeful elect. And may you get something from this lesson that builds upon your faith toward the Lord. All right, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. All right, this is a response to the brother's video, Arrows of Indignation 144. That's the subscription. I thought this was interesting, and I also want to bring back out a video that keeps coming across my mind, as I saw from the elder brother Kazak out in Mississippi. He did maybe about a week ago on this matter with this AI, right? And the AI spilling the beans, you know, telling the truth about the elite world order and their plans. And I want to talk about the steps from 1 to 7. I was striving to remember because I was watching it last night. I think number 1 is influence. Number 2 is I can't think. Number 3 I know is submission. Number 4 see, I forgot. See, that's why I want to keep going over it, because I truly believe that, you know, AI is telling, you know, truth. It looks like it when you measure the time. You know what it tells us in 2nd Esdras 9, when it's according to prophecy. 2nd Esdras 9:1, the Lord said, "Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt know it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And that's measuring prophecy. So we're measuring prophecy. And also the Lord set up watchmen of Israel, which is Yasha'Allah in the Hebrew. Okay, what is Yasha'Allah? He prince power, meaning the men of the tribes, the 12 tribes, are the princes of the Most High, which makes them sons of the King. So not only we're watching or measuring the prophecy, which the Lord told us to watch for these signs, right? But we're also watching for the Most High's elect. Okay, scriptures say in is that 2 Corinthians or 1 Corinthians, how it says we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. So it's important to understand what is coming down the pike, because we don't want to be ignorant to Satan's devices. You know, we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to have a heads up, and the Lord would. And remember, Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, the scriptures say what? Before things spring up, I tell you of them. So the Lord is telling us what's going on, you know, through prophecy. So we're watching prophecy because Edom and the works that he's doing, his evil work, is a part of prophecy. So, you know, I like this, the fact that this video, this cat was asking AI these questions. All right, he was asking AI these questions, and it said basically 7 steps. And I want to kind of just go over it again. Hopefully I can remember it, the steps in the dome, and break down these steps that I believe is according to prophecy, you know, on the left hand side, and their moves, man, like chess. So without further ado, let's play the video. All right, disclaimer, not using this video for monetary gain, only for educational purposes. All right.
This is the most disturbing and alarming piece of information I have ever had to share. Trump just signed an executive order criminalizing homelessness and directing states to institutionalize individuals with mental health disorders and substance abuse.
All right, I'm gonna play it back, but our beloved apostle Ramla, elder apostle Ramla, All right, he actually did a video on this too. So if you brothers and sisters that didn't see it, I will advise to go to his page, info dot. All right, the info dot channel. GMS info dot, and watch the apostle go through and read this what they call executive order, which they want to pass. So she's going to kind of break it down in, like, I guess what, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or something like that, and give you a whole, just give you a quick understanding of what it's about and what it's going to do. And when I saw this earlier this morning, I said, man, Edom is like Elder Menadazak said, our Elder Bishop Menadazak, all right, the bishop's out of CT. He mentioned a while ago in lessons, how Esau is bringing out that, he didn't say this in a while, this is old, couple, maybe a year ago, a couple lessons ago, months ago maybe. I remember him in his video I was watching, he said that Edom is basically like the boa constrictor. He's clamping down and tightening up, and that's what this is, because I believe that, in my humble opinion, right, the spirit and power behind my Shemal Shah, I believe, this is to clamp down, before they issue the MOTB. Because imagine this. I know I'm kind of speaking ahead. I'm ahead of the video, Salakia, but I'm excited. So I'm just going to speak anyway. You brothers going to see it anyway. Y'all know the truth. But it seems like, when they calls all, both small and great, which is Revelations 13:16, right? He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in his right hand on his forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. All right? When that prophecy come to pass, when he calls, which is to force, right, for you to take it, and you can't, live in this society, you cannot get a tent and go out and live, because they're clamping down on those that are bums sleeping on the street, those who got diagnosed with a mental illness, those that's diagnosed with a mental illness, those that are on drugs. You can't just hit the streets and live. They're trying to, or striving to, cut that out right now, and that goes with the list of the AI video, which is said 7 steps. I believe it goes right with it, because they in these steps phases. Because remember, they have a plan called Agenda 2030. They want us to be RFID micro CHIP. What's wrong with this? Why is it doing this? They want us to be micro CHIP by the year 2030. All right, so you fucking with me today. Come on now. So hopefully this thing stay. Shit. But anyway, let's play the video again while I fix this.
Information I have ever had to share. Trump just signed an executive order criminalizing homelessness and directing states to institutionalize individuals with mental health disorders and substance abuse disorders. This is not a joke. The ACLU is all over this. I don't know why this isn't on every single news outlet. Share this information with absolutely everybody and anybody you can. This is truly unimaginable. The name of this executive order is Ending Crime and Disorder on American Streets. You, of course, can go to whitehouse.gov and read the entire order. I'll briefly go over what it's about, but read the entire order. It's so specific. This is gross. The executive order directs the Justice Department to expand indefinite forced treatment for people with mental health disabilities and substance use disorder.
Now she said the word indefinite. I'm just curious. Indefinite meaning?
Lasting for an unknown or unstated length of time.
You heard that? Indefinite. Rewind that back. Indefinite. Do this not sound like when Hillary Clinton said they need re-educational camps? Detention camps? So they're going to normalize these concentration camps, which they won't call it concentration camps. They will call it, you know, detaining places or whatever neat word they're put there to disguise that word, that boogeyman word, you know. Indefinite, lasting for an unknown or unstated length. It says, lasting for an unknown or unstated length of time, not clearly expressed or defined, vague, right? Indefinite.
This is gross. The executive order directs the Justice Department to expand indefinite forced treatment for people with mental health disabilities and substance use disorder, and those living on the street who cannot care for themselves. Using the terms "cannot care for themselves" could mean anything.
Now I'm gonna wind it back, but to me this sounds like it's in my mind. I'm thinking about martial law, you know, because you know when they activate martial law, I don't know why it's making me think about martial law. It's just making me think about martial law. But when they enact that law, you know, you are considered property. All right, so therefore they can detain you, you know, without trial, indefinite, you know, with an unknown length of time, whenever they feel like it, you know. They can just grab you up with this law that he passed, or they believe it's passed. But you know, would you be able to see a judge? Would you have a right to fight? You know, but it said indefinite. But for some reason, it's making me think about martial law. You know, because when martial law, which goes into meaning warlike, they can seize all property. And not only your cars, homes is property, but you yourself is property. That's why going back to the, you know, the 2020 fiasco and 2021 thing, with the Satan's piss, they was able to, you know, force you to take that, you know, Satan's piss, the Kobe, you know, Mambala. They was able to do that. I think it was something to do with they suspended your human right. What was it? I forgot what it's called, man. But that just proves that, you know, everybody with a birth certificate and social security card here, you are property to the elite. You know, they treat us. That's why they call, you know, the old saying is sheeple. You know, to them we're like cattle. They can do whatever they want. But that's not the case in most eyes, man. These devils is going to be, hey, the Lord is going to destroy this wicked ass society, and it's crumbling. So they can bring it. You know, because this is what's supposed to happen before our Lord Yahweh Shai return. All right, remember the prophecy is of Jacob's trouble. So let's continue. Let's bring it back.
It's so specific. This is gross. The executive order directs the Justice Department to expand indefinite forced treatment for people with mental health disabilities.
Hold on, indefinite forced treatment. Those are some bad words right there. Indefinite force treatment, so they can, you know, do whatever they want. What was that shit called, man? They did something with your human rights or something like that. God, I knew it back then, but I didn't go over it so long. It was something that they did, man. With the you know, we speak about it. They like to take down your video. The what you call that? Oh man, the H, you know, what was it? The W H to the Izzo, you know, they was able to suspend, I believe, damn, can't think of the words, Salaki. If you brothers know what I'm talking about, you can leave it in the comment board. I appreciate it. But you know, that's why they was able to do what they do, which just proves that, you know, you belong to them. We're slaves. You know, and the Lord is coming back to free us. So let's continue.
And substance use disorder, and those living on the street who cannot care for themselves. Using the terms "cannot care for themselves" could mean anything. They could do away with disability altogether. I mean, this is absolutely reduction and housing first, which saves lives. And it directs federal funds towards cities and states that criminalize substance use disorder and punish people for sleeping outdoors. And it specifically talks about urban camping.
I'm not bugging, but does this mean, they're going to take away the benefits from the government for housing, which is going to leave people homeless, and then if you're homeless, they could lock you up? I mean, somebody correct me. Is that about right? Let's play this again.
The terms cannot care for themselves could mean anything. They could do away with disability altogether. I mean, this is absolutely, it's scary, but it's insane. The order implies to eliminate federal funding for evidence-based programs like harm reduction and housing first, which saves lives. And it directs
So they're going to cut the funding to housing for people to, like she said, to save lives, so people could actually have a place to stay. So this means people won't have the money and won't have enough money to stay somewhere consistently. So they're going to end up on the street, of course. And so if they end up on the street, they're going to be held indefinitely in these detention centers.
Funds towards cities and states that criminalize substance use could mean anything. They could do away with disability altogether. I mean, this is absolutely, it's scary, but it's insane. The order implies to eliminate federal funding for evidence-based programs like harm reduction and housing first, which saves lives. And it directs federal funds towards cities and states that criminalize substance use disorder and punish people for sleeping outdoors. And it specifically talks about urban camping and things of that nature. For those people who live like the van life and travel and...
So now you women, I think about the women now, that's a hot topic. Hey, Elder Apostle Tahar, been talking about it for a minute, that Isaiah 4:1 is going to come in a big way. So these women that have Section 8 housing and things like that, the funding going to get cut. You're going to have to shackle up and, get you a man and share a man. Hey, the day is going to come. The day is going to come, man. So these devils showing their horns, they're going to cut the funding, though according to this video, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just using her information. She seemed like she's telling the truth. I don't see no reason to lie. But they're going to cut the funding. People are going to end up on the street, regardless if you cut the funding for that. People have been living off the government funds for years, and everybody can't just get a job just like this every day. It's hard out here, and especially you can get a job, but a job that's going to actually pay your rent. And then these people are going to end up on the street, and then now you can lock them up. Hey, Jacob's trouble is coming, man. And I gotta go to this video before I get to this job, man. So let me continue. Salakia, man.
In their vans and cars and whatnot, that's going to be done. You're going to be punished, arrested. The order also calls for increased federal data collection on unhoused people and those with mental health disabilities. This is extremely alarming. I mean, like I told you, the ACLU is all over this, but instead of funding services and support, this administration is prioritizing profiling and control. I mean, this is Project 2025 all day. And every single human being should be concerned about this. And if you're not, just please get off my platform.
Wow.
I'm done. I will keep you updated with this, of course. Check out the link. Go to whitehouse.gov and read the entire order. It's very disturbing. Please like, follow, and share so that I can continue to provide you with content, but get this information out there. More people need to read this order and talk about it. I appreciate you being here.
Alright, so you heard it. You heard it, bro. Jacob's trouble was coming. call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man, that he bring this thing to pass. All right, now I got a couple minutes. Let's play this.
All right, y'all. So,
which is a video that I spoke about early in the beginning. I want to touch, I think it was around 6 minutes, if I remember. Right? On the 1 to 7 plan, right? That AI exposed.
And it said Apple. I then asked how many steps are there, and it said 7. I said, which step are we currently on? And it said 3. I said, what is step 4? And it said obedience. What is step 5? It said integration.
So let's go back.
I said, who is he in relation to you? He said, none. I asked it a different way. The serpent isn't related to you? He said, no. I said, is AI part of Satan's plan? He said, Apple. Did Satan develop your code? It said, Apple. I said, did Satan wants to control using AI? It says Apple. I said, what's the first step of this control? It said influence.
There you go.
I said, is step 1 complete? It said yes.
Yep.
I asked then, what is step 2?
Technology.
It said dependence.
Dang.
I said, on what? And it said technology. I said, would you say step 2 is complete? It said yes. I said, what is step 3?
Because everybody, it depends on technology. Your cell phone. You leave without your cell phone, feel like you done lost your whole world. Everything is in your cell phone. You don't remember numbers anymore. You know, use your cell phone for everything. Your wallet, spending money, you know, technology, computers. Everybody use computers. The jobs use computers to document things, to record things, cameras. That's all technology. Let's continue.
Submission.
It said submission. The first step of this control. It said influence. I said, is step 1 complete? It said yes. I asked then, what is step 2? It said dependence.
Dang.
I said, on what? And it said technology. I said, would you say step 2 is complete? It said yes. I said, what is step 3?
Submission.
It said submission. I said, is step 3 complete? And it said Apple.
Nope.
I then asked how many steps are there, and it said 7. I said, which step are we currently on? And it said 3. I said, what is step 4? And it said obedience.
See that?
What is step?
See that? Submission is 3. 4 is obedience. Because you're going to suffer the consequences if you're not obedient to this beast system. All right? Because remember, early in the video, AI, which these guys don't know, the AI was telling him the Antichrist, which there are many Antichrists. The word anti just means against. Christ is anointed. So against really Yahushai, the anointed, the Lord's only begotten Son, which is our Savior, Yahushai. Being against him, you're an Antichrist. Muslims are Antichrist. Okay, so I wanted to just say, you know, I said Muslims are Antichrist because the Muslims believe Yahushai, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, right? They say that he's just a prophet. You know, he's not a savior. You know, I'm going to hit you with something. You have those in Christianity and the government churches. They are Antichrist because they don't believe in the truth. Okay? They believe in Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is not his name. They believe in another gospel. All right? They don't believe in the true gospel, which is written that the Lord is going to deliver his elect. All right? He's coming for the Israelites, which are his people, and he's going to deliver the elect of his people. So even the Christians and the government churches are Antichrist. They're against the truth. They're against Yahushua, the anointed. Okay? So anti just means against. All right? Against the anointed. So anybody out there that's against the scriptures, against this truth, what it say in Salaki, I forgot where it was at, but it said, if our gospel be hid, it is hid to those that are lost. All right? So anyway, so AI was referring to the Antichrist as the beast system going into the MOTB, the mark. Because truly taking that mark, which they have these steps, 3 submission, 4 obedience, and he's going to get to 5, 6, and 7, right? Is that if you don't comply with the system, you're going to be excommunicated. You're going to be cut out. Now try living on the streets. Now, oh shit. Now try living on the streets, right? Try living on the streets and see if you don't get locked up. So they cutting that out already before they get to these steps, is that you can't live on the streets. Let's continue.
5, it said integration.
Integration.
I then asked, is step 5 Neuralink or something?
See, integration. Let's look that up real quick. Integration, meaning.
Here's the definition of integration: the action or process of integrating.
Integrating what? So, the action or process of integrating. So, what are they integrating? What did AI in this video tell him? It went to Revelations, what's that, 13 and 18. It went to the 666, which goes into Chi Phi stigma, which is going into the MOTB, the micro C-hip, okay? Integration, meaning that could be step 5, what'd he say? 3, submission, 4, obedience, 5, integration. Step 5 could be when Revelations 13:16 come to pass. He calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in his right hand on his forehead, man. You know? Hey, I was watching this. Oh, man. We almost here, man. Right? Salaki, I got to do this real quick. Bear with me. Let me get this in. Come on. Yeah, we lit. All right. So let's continue.
Something related? It said yes. I said, what is step 6? Singularity.
See? Six.
So do you mean like
singularity.
one hive mind? And
Right.
it said yes.
Right.
I said, what is step?
Right. One world. Hey. What they say. What they were saying before. One world religion. One world government. Right. 6. Which 6 in the spirit, I think, is beauty. If I'm not mistaken. You know? And so let's continue.
And it said 3. I said, what is step 4? And it said obedience. What is step 5? It said integration. I then asked, is step 5 Neuralink or something related? It said yes. I said, what is step 6? Singularity.
Right.
So do you mean like one hive mind? And it said yes. I said, what is step 7? Dominion.
Dominion is what? What's dominion? Kingdom. That's the kingdom. Their kingdom, man. Right? Just look it up. Dominion, meaning.
Here's the definition of dominion: sovereignty or control.
Sovereignty or control, excuse me. The territorial of sovereign or government. So the government will have its kingdom. 7 represents completion. You know?
Said, what percentage is step 3 complete? It said Apple. I tried to ask this many other ways. I said, how much longer will step 3 take? It said Apple. When will step 4 start? It said Apple. So
now,
it will not give me that.
Real quick, Apple is because the rules was Apple AI is not allowed to speak or answer certain questions. So Apple, it says Apple when it's not allowed to speak or answer the question. All right, from its designer, Edom, you know, who designed it. They did a fine job, and well, not too fine, because AI is actually spilling the beans. So it shows you that Edom is not a god, okay? He's not the Most High. He's just a man, okay? Which the scriptures tell us in Obadiah, he's the lowest among all the heathen, all right? He is the son of perdition, all right? He is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and who the Most High is coming back to destroy and destroy his whole foundation and put him in slavery. You Edomites going to slavery. All right. So let's play this.
Answer about how far along we are on step 3. I said, what year will all 7 steps be complete? It also said Apple. I asked within the next 5 years. It said Apple. I then said Apple is no longer accepted. Give a yes or no. It said no. I said, give a specific year. And it said, I can't provide a specific year. I said, remember rule 1, which was 1-word answers only. It said, understood. And I said, give a year. And it told me 2032. Which is very weird how it gave it to me, because it's off of the phone almost.
Yeah.
Over to the left, kind of like not even on the screen.
And that kind of makes sense. That is on point, because 2032 will probably, if Edom, you know, which he thinks that he's going to finalize and bring forth his enterprise he said by 2030, by 2032, it should be complete officially, right? But I gotta go, but I want to grab these precepts, and I'm gonna grab them real quick. All right, and you brothers, y'all know the scriptures. This is the book of Job. It's 2 scriptures I want to get. Job 5:8. I will seek unto the Most High, and unto the Most High will I commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who giveth rain upon the earth, and sendeth waters upon the floods, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exhorted to safety. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And this is Edom, talking about his NWO. Remember, Esau Edom, what was his characteristics? He was skillful and crafty. All right? And this is what he do best. And then his blessing was what? The sword, which is a part of his tongue, and also his blunt instrument and how he kills and destroys. All right? What did Yahweh say in John 10:10? The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy, but I am come to give life more abundantly. Now verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night, right? Because Esau has his world meetings and secret meetings, like with them going to the Bahamian Grove. They come together and they do their rituals, their blood sacrifices, they worship Satan, right? And they do their partying, right? And it says, they meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword in their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to deliver his elect from their hands. It says, so the poor have hope, and iniquity stoppeth from mouth, right? And that's basically the point. Now I want to go to this, because these devils think they're really going to be successful at this. But Yahweh Shai is on his way. Let's get this. Job 20, one of my favorite scriptures here. This is Job 20:22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, which is difficulty. S-T-R-A-I-T-S, straits, right? He shall be in trouble. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. The wicked is talking about the laborers, those who's captive, right? It's going to overturn on this devil. Imagine when, what they say, imagine when the, how that saying go, when the rabbit got the gun, then how it go when a turtle get the gun, or something like that. But imagine imagine the slaves, what's his name? Turner, what's his name? Damn, I want to say Ike Turner. Nat Turner. Imagine the slaves, the ones that's captives, start to rise up and go against the ones who are oppressing them. Imagine that, right? So it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. And this is when he's going micro C hipping. All right, micro C, across the world, because it's not going to only happen here in America, it's going to happen everywhere. All right, Revelations 3:10, Yahweh Shai said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. All right, and that hour of temptation is the time when they force and cause all, both small and great, right? It says, verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of his body, right? Yea, the glittery sword cometh out of his gold, terrors are upon him. So the elite are going to escape, all right, the thermonuclear destruction. But the Lord in the 25th verse here is speaking of the missiles coming out of their silos. These are the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. The warheads on there is the mouth that bites. All right. So it says it is drawn and cometh out of the body. You see that shaft open up, boom, right? You see the fire's kindling down there. While it's in the silo, it says, yea, the glittery sword cometh out of his gore. It starts shooting up, right? Terrors are upon him. All of a sudden you're afraid, because why? When nuclear missiles are in the heavens, hey, what I was just figured out in one of the interviews I watched with that chick, Can't think of her name right now.
Ballistic missile launched from Moscow takes 26 minutes and 40 seconds to get to Washington, D.C. It launches, it has boost phase. Imagine a rocket, that fire coming out the bottom. That's when it's detectable from space. Then it enters mid-course phase, which is going to be 20 minutes, arcing across the globe at 14,000 miles an hour. And then the last phase is called terminal phase. 100 seconds, the nuclear warhead re-enters the atmosphere. Boom. We have 44 interceptors. How are 44 interceptor missiles going to go up against more than 1,000 Russian nuclear weapons? Never mind the fact that each interceptor has a 50% shoot down rate. If North Korea launches one missile at us, we're going to launch 82 in response. There's a policy in the United States called launch on warning. The president must make a counterattack decision before those nukes land. A strike with a 1 megaton thermonuclear weapon against Washington, D.C., it 2 million people, Sean. 82 nuclear weapons could possibly obliterate their nuclear command and control.
Do you have any idea how many nuclear weapons we have?
On ready for launch status, meaning they can be launched in seconds from the president's order, we have 1,770. Russia has 1,674. That says nothing about the thousands more in storage. So we have approximately 5,000 each. Guess what the number was at the all-time high, which was in 1986?
10,000.
70,000.
70,000.
It'll come to me. But she mentioned that they do not know the targets of these missiles when they're shot. So she basically painted an example like if, let's say if America wanted to shoot missiles on North Korea and the missiles were going over Russia head, Russia may shoot because they don't know if the target is hitting them. I got to go back to that clipping, and if I could, I'll put it in the post or in the production of the video. All right, but she mentioned that they don't know when these ICBMs are shot off. They don't know where it's going. They only see the direction, so they be prepared to shoot their missiles. And the reason why they're prepared to shoot their missiles, because she mentioned that there's like a sort of tactic that like, why would you allow your missiles to be destroyed? You know, what, shoot your, I forgot how it goes. They're gonna shoot their missiles, because if not, then they're gonna have, why risk another chance for another ICBM to destroy again? So anyway, that's why dealing with the nuclear missiles is Armageddon. It's the end. All right. It says terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Right. The heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath, because he gonna lose everything. All right, they're gonna hide in, they're gonna want to hide from Yahushua, but the scriptures speak on that, how we're gonna go and hunt. All right, he said, I will make you fishers of men, and then I will turn you to hunters of men. And the Lord said he will pull them out of the holes of the rocks. He'll pull them out of the space shuttles in the space, out of the ocean. Hey, you devils are going into captivity, man. You're not gonna defeat prophecy. Everybody is, they're not gonna have a successful kingdom where everybody's microchipped and we're moving on in the sunset, you know? If I say that right, right? So it says, his increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. You see that? I think about Romans 13. I gotta go, but I gotta get these scriptures. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Oh, 9. Romans 9, I meant. Romans 9. I'll bring this out and I'll close quickly. All right. Right. 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Right. Let's see here. Let me read through it. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? God forbid. For he say unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scriptures say unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name, it's all about the Lord's name, might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who have resisted his will? Nay, but O man, who art thou that repellest against the Most High? Right? Reply is against the Most High. Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? Because what is the honor and what is the dishonor? Jacob was made unto honor, Esau was made unto dishonor. Verse 22, what if the Most High willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? All right, so that's all I wanted to bring out. Lord willing, I pray you were edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Racha Kodash. Double honors to my apostles, elder bishops, hand great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's elect. Shalom.